Who wants to open? Miss Ann, do you want to open? You're the one that stirred this pot.
Well, I feel like the traffic circle is not a good idea, and that's why I brought all these people together, so everybody could voice their opinion. I'm new to the area, so I don't know that much about the history, but I do know how it's affecting the people in the community in a negative way. And tearing out these historic trees or seizing pieces of land in this area, I think is a negative thing for the whole entire community. So, and that's why I brought everybody together, so you can each say how you feel about it.
I'm Judy Brigden, and I actually grew up here. I was not born here as some of these folks were, but I was almost 8 when we moved in, my family and I. And right over across the road here, our property is one of the ones, if they do the circle on Sand Hill, they're going to take property from both ends of our piece of property and both houses. So we don't know where we'll be.
I'm Jim Brigden. I'm Judy's husband. I moved here to Marlow back in 1972. And my wife and I lived right next to her daddy's store across the road. And moved here, and I fell in love with Marlow. Marlow is probably one of the nicest places I've ever lived.
Yeah.
It's a historic community, and I revel in that as a living historian. It's a beautiful community. I mean, just look around you at the trees and the neighbors that we have. We would prefer to keep this as a historic community. We don't want to see it gutted in the middle with a traffic circle that's going to eat up probably at least 1/3 of our property and make us have to move out of our community, not to mention our good neighbors that are probably going to be in the same boat by the time they're done. Now, it's ludicrous that the Georgia Department of Transportation cannot find a solution to this problem other than another traffic circle.
This is a historic community, and there's going to be a lot of changes made to make it a roundabout. You take people's land, change the whole looks of it, and before you know it, it's not going to be historic. You know, and taking these big oak trees, been down here for hundreds of years, and you know, I just don't think it's a wise decision. I think they can make different decisions. For one, they could probably slow the speed limit down out here to 35 or 45 miles an hour. Another thing, there's a curve down here that I don't know if they could do something with it, but you go out to the road and go to pull out. Time you pull out, there's a car coming around there, you know, 60 miles an hour or whatever. I mean, he's done on you time you get out, especially with my trucks over there. My name's Lamar Coleman. I lived here all my life. I'm 69 years old.
My name's Chris Coleman. I've lived here all my life. My concern with the roundabout is these trucks backing off the highway. If they put a roundabout, it's going to be just terrible.
I'm Rhonda Coleman. I've been here probably, 30-something years. I'm married to Chris Coleman. I drive a school bus, but the speed limit on that road is too fast for this this road out here on 17. But yeah, I drive a bus, so it's very dangerous for me to come out of this and they put a roundabout right there.
I'm Ann McDaniel, and I'm 79 years old. and I have lived here all except the 4 years we lived in Atlanta. And we decided to move back to Effingham County because he's from Effingham County too. I think there are many other alternatives to destroying this place that is so unique in the United States. You won't find a place like this. So those kind of things need to be preserved. Alternatives, if the state can't think of some, I can actually give them some. Sand Hill Road comes from Highway 80 to right here. Well, guess what? Central Avenue goes all the way to Pinora, and it comes to a dead end because the county in their foresight planning closed that 1 mile up on Central to connect to the other end of Central to Guyton. I think it would be much less expensive to rebuild that part of Central Avenue because they already own the right-of-way and the bed's halfway there or 2/3 there. You would have 2 direct routes from US 80 to Guyton. You would have Georgia 17, you would have Sand Hill Road, and you could name that anything you wanted to and go all the way to Guyton on that road. 2 major roads. A roundabout doesn't give you but 1 road, but still a traffic problem. And I think with the way the county is growing, 2 major roads would be a much better solution than a roundabout. And it would probably cost less.
We're Freddie and Susan Tage. We've lived here for 32 years. We moved here thinking we were going to be out in the country in our retirement years. You know, I talked to some folks that were out here a couple of years ago. They were doing a survey of all of the intersections in the county that had frequent accidents or a certain number of accidents. And they said there were several different options. Well, I don't know how much time they spent on any other options. I think they probably went real quick with the roundabout because that seems to be the thing of the day now is roundabouts. And I think it's people probably all over the state that are dealing with these kind of things. And in the economy in which we live, we just feel like we're kind of stuck. We're going to have to take whatever they shove down our throat.
Okay, I'm Mary Lou Thomas, and we have lived here for 50 years. We moved here in '74. My husband was pastor at Zion Lutheran Church, which is down the road here, about 5 miles. For 25 years he was pastor down there, and he's since passed away. But Marlow was special to us, and when he retired, we asked if we could buy the parsonage, which is located here in Marlow, and stick around, and they said, please do. And so we have been here for 50 years now. And I agree with what everybody else has said. I fully agree with them, and I was wondering why it wouldn't be, if we've got problems at this intersection, why it wouldn't make sense just to put in traffic lights there to help control it, if that seems to be a problem. One of the major problems is the curve that's on the south end here in town, and cars, as already been mentioned, cars coming around that curve, and by the time you pull out, you might get hit, as we have. And so we realized the problem in that connection. If they'd slow down, maybe that would help, but a traffic light would be better than a roundabout, I feel. It's not fair to these folks that live right here on the corners to lose their land and so forth to a roundabout. It just isn't fair.
My name is Reggie McDaniel. I'm married to Ann. I'm 83 years old, and I've been here the same amount of time she has.
Well, no.
Since we've been sitting here and we've been talking this situation over, there's been approximately 12, 15 vehicles have gone this way at this intersection. And this way here has been probably about 200. So it is absolutely foolish to stop all of the people going to Guyton down this road at this specific location. If you don't want any more wrecks at this general area, you put a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit sign up there and you have these people slow down.
My name is Joe Maynard. I've lived here in Marlow all my days. I was born here. I live in the house I was born in that my parents passed down to me. I'm not going to be directly impacted by this roundabout as far as maintaining my home and my yard. But I feel the problems that the people that surround this intersection are going to have. Part of this, the people that have been killed here, is not
the roundabout would have solved it had it been him, but that some of those accidents are not caused by the intersection, it's caused by equipment failure in the vehicle. One other problem that we have is lack of law enforcement on Georgia 17. You very ever see, in spite of the high accident rate, I don't observe any state patrol or any law enforcement here.
My name's Jimmy Neese. I grew up in this community, been a member of this church since before I was born. My grandparents lived here. If you look at Marlow as a whole, it's one of the prettiest communities you ever see. Large live oak trees everywhere that are hundreds of years old. This proposed roundabout will affect up to 10 different property owners. They're going to lose property, lose frontage, may have to move. And these are retirement people that already have paid their property off or enjoying retirement. Now they may have to move, buy property, go in debt again, and live in debt the rest of their life. It's just not right. I proposed to the state a while back that you can take this highway and put a double line, no crossing, 45-mile speed limit from around the curve all the way through Marlow. One of my neighbors has told he's got to move his house back if that's the case. If that's the case, my 200-year-old plus oak tree will be cut down. Who's going to pay me for that tree? You can't grow another 200-year-old tree in our lifetime. The oak trees in the churchyard will go. Why? Just to satisfy DOT? No. These people have earned the right to live on their property and keep their property. I think there's other solutions.
My name is Jared Veal. I'm a relatively new resident here in Marlow. Been a resident of Effingham County the better part of 30 years of my life. I will say I am not going to be directly affected by having part of my property claimed by this project. But what I will say is that I don't think there's a single one of us in this area who wouldn't give up a piece of our property if we thought it was a legitimate, functional, and purposeful, planned, well-developed plan that would save lives or make the community as a whole better. I think the major part of the problem here is that DOT has decided for itself what the right solution to this problem is without public comment, without public input or inquiry. It hasn't taken the time to ask the residents around us, hey, you're the ones who lived here for as long as you have. What do you see as potential solutions? I don't even know if there's been a traffic study done to evaluate the benefits of a traffic circle here. If there has, great, we haven't seen it. But I think those are things that need to be brought to our attention before plans are laid out, not as plans are being developed or money is being allocated to be put towards this. And I don't see how our elected officials can allow Georgia DOT to make decisions on our behalf without our local input. I think they're doing themselves a disservice and they're doing the community a disservice by not speaking to us directly and at least taking a short list of the possible solutions that we might have to offer. And I think it's important for our voices to be heard, at least heard, if not directly responded to, by both the Georgia DOT and our public officials. Be careful about coming back.